Yo everybody, we are back here again today for another exciting video back here in NHL 21. So we've had a few series going on in NHL 21 right now. We've got a hot series going on, we've got a Be A Pro series going on that I think is ending fairly soon. And now we are doing a franchise series. So as you guys can tell maybe by this point, we are doing an expansion team for our very first kind of go at it here in the in franchise mode. So for some reason it doubled up on Burnaby, but we're going to be called the Burnaby Brush. We're just going to keep the salary cap on here. I already went and edited all the settings, turned injuries down a little bit because injuries can be annoying as all hell in franchise mode, and did change some of the other settings, but pretty much most of the settings are still the same other than a few tweaks to injuries and things like that. So nothing really too different from if you're just going to hop into a franchise mode yourself. Just for the sake of the videos, having less injuries and such is going to be probably a good thing for us. So, new to franchise mode. Welcome to franchise mode. You can now interview, hire, and fire your entire coaching staff. Coaches have multiple effects across the mode, and combined with our scouting system, you now have full control to build the best organization in the NHL. Coaches have 6 attributes, blah, blah, blah. Again, we've done this before. Scoring accuracy ranges from accurate to unknown. Fog of War. We don't have Fog of War on. So we're going to just head right into it. Head into the expansion draft. Well, I figured I'd take a moment to welcome you to the Burnaby Brush franchise. You have your plate full with the upcoming expansion draft, but I'll touch base again in a few days before the draft itself after I get a sense of who the other teams are going to make available. So our maximum salary cap here is $81.5 mil. I didn't even see the minimum. Looks like Minnesota jumped from 9th place to 1st place with the pick there. That's poor Detroit, just got shafted pretty hard. So pretty much the decisions you make in the expansion draft tomorrow will decide whether the franchise sinks or swims in its first year. But keeping a close eye on your choices, as will all the fans. Okay. So looks like we are heading into the expansion draft here, just loading into it. Begin the expansion draft. So the Burnaby Brush are officially the 32nd team here in the NHL. I believe 32nd, right? Welcome to the NHL expansion draft. As the expansion team, you will have to select one player from every NHL team for a total of 30 players. You must also draft a minimum of 14 forwards, 9 defensemen, and 3 goalies. Making a pick, yeah, okay, I've done all this before. Don't need the tutorial. So, let's see who we want to take here. I mean, Heinen would be a pretty decent first pick. So would Milano, actually. But I think we're going to take Heinen. I mean, they're pretty much the same age as Heinen is obviously getting paid a little bit more. But he also is, kind of one overall higher. Let's see here. They're both pretty equal. So, but Heinen also has 2 years left on his contract as opposed to Milano having 1. So his entry level deal is going to be over quite soon. So we're going to want to stick away from kind of that business, and this is just a crapshoot. I mean, we don't really want to take any of these players that are going to give us a cap issue. I'm honestly thinking of taking Straza, to be honest, just because he's not going to be a big hit to our cap, and he's 26, but I don't know. Do they have any good goalies available? Ooh. Ranta. 85, 31 overall for 4.2 mil. Ooh. We'll pick Ranta for now, but obviously that pick isn't final, so we can come back and change that. They're actually gonna give up DeBrusk. DeBrusk and Kashe. I'm also probably gonna butcher some of these players' names, and I apologize in advance for that because I feel like I just butchered Kashe's name there. I don't know, like how much money is DeBrusk gonna want is the big question for me. And who do they have for goalies? Halak, not as good as Ranta for sure. But I mean, he's quite young. His contract is gonna be a big issue though. I mean, Kashi's pretty much the same age, and he has 2 years left on his contract. So we've got 24 goals in 55 games as opposed to DeBrusk's almost 40-something points in 65 games. I think we'll take DeBrusque. Again, none of these choices are final. We can obviously always go back and change our mind at some point. This could be our first good defenseman here in Colin Miller. A little bit of an expensive cap hit, but 3 years left for $3.8 million. It'll be about 30 when we can decide whether to get rid of him or not. I say we'll take Miller. We need some defensemen anyway, so I say we'll definitely... Ooh. Okay. This is interesting now. We could take Giordano. I mean, he's getting quite old. He's 36 at this point, with 3 years left on a contract. It's really dependent on whether we want to try to make a run in our first year or whether we want to kind of tank our first year, I think is going to be the most important thing. I mean, Giordano is going to be the best defenseman you could get for... It's a lot of friggin'... Again, we're going to take Giordano for now. It's definitely possible that I'm going to change my mind. We've already taken up $18 million in our cap for, like, 5 players, so I have to be careful of that for sure. Then we have another couple interesting picks here. My initial thought is to go for someone like Edmondson maybe, but we need more defense, and that's kind of where we're in a little bit of a tizzy here. Vatanin's only got 1 year left in the contract. I don't really want to get... A lot of these guys only have 1 year left in their contracts. We're just not... There's just not much good here. Could go with Justin Williams. We could also go with Warren here. My boy Warren. I don't know. It'd be a smaller cap hit for a left winger. This is actually a tough choice. It's hard to turn down Brady Shea, but for that price, it's almost not hard to turn him down. 5 years left on his contract, and I mean, I think people would finish, like, completely stop improving pretty much at like 27. So, like, he's pretty much hit his limit, you know. Is Warren going to get any better than he is now, though, is my issue. Or should we just go with, like, kind of, you know, an old head like Williams? Let's go with Warren. We'll go with Warren for now. Again, all these choices can be kind of changed up here in the future. Oh, man. I guess we'll take Shaw. We've only picked one goalie so far, so we're going to have to kind of be careful of that. I mean, none of these players are really speaking to me here, if I'm being completely honest. Like, none of these guys look great. Graves wouldn't be a bad choice. Who do they got for a goalie? Ooh, Hutchinson might be interesting. No. This is actually quite difficult. Like, I don't want to take too many of these you know, rookies that have their contracts coming up soon, because I mean, none of them are really great. You know what I mean? Like, Donskoy seems to be Donskoy, or like Wilson, Calvert maybe. Let's go Wilson for this year. We'll take Wilson this year, and then maybe near the end of the year, we'll maybe try to trade him for something a little different. Man, they're not giving me much here for the expansion draft, I will admit. We're not really getting anything too exciting, I will say. They're going to take in Nudivara here, but I don't know. Anderson would also be an interesting one. But again, 1 year left. I'm going to take Nudivara here. I don't want to have a huge cap issue at the start of this coming year, or start of next year. On the bright side, though, we're doing pretty good, I think. Like, we're putting ourselves in a position where we can, you know, kind of take a pick at some of these players later on in the draft. Like, this is a crapshoot. None of these characters are worth my time. Like, I keep saying characters. Like, I don't know why I keep saying characters. I apologize. Oh my god. Howard and Bernier as the goalies. Detroit just... Detroit's probably hoping that we take someone with a big cap hit at this point. They need it bad. This is awful. Imagine paying a 79 overall, almost $5.5 million. I would lose full. But I want someone with more than a year on their contract right now. Like, none of these choices are good. None of what's the highest potential on the roster? Perlini is the highest potential on the roster. Thinking of maybe taking Giovanni Smith, just because he's worth nothing, and he could, he's top 9 forward, so he could potentially be traded for something in the future, I guess. We'll definitely take Adam Larson here. He just seems to be the best possible pick there. Hoffman, he could actually be a good starting lineman there. $5 million, and he's only got a year left on his contract. I think we're going to take Hoffman, though. I think I want to make a run, or at least kind of a run, this year, which may be a big mistake. We may put ourselves in kind of an awful situation by me trying to do that. I think we might actually take Hutton. Another 1-year contract, though. Like, we're going to have so many contracts up in a year if I keep messing around like this. We can't take Brown. I'm not taking Dustin Brown. I'd rather die. What about defenseman here? I could take Quick, but again, that's trash. I guess we'll take Hutton. Man, we're gonna have a big cap issue, I think, coming up in our next upcoming year. Stahl, that's a pretty good pick there, to be honest. We don't. Stalick could be a pretty good backup goalie, but do we give up on Stahl for that? $3.2 million for 2 years is an 85 overall. I think we'll take that. I think we'll definitely take that. Okay, please tell me they have a decent backup goalie. They don't. They don't have nothing. They don't have anything. This is ridiculous. You're telling me that Shiro is the best player they can offer me? Shiro and Armia. We actually need right wingers. 2 years left on that contract. 80 overall. 27 years old. 3 years left. I think we'll actually take Armia. We don't really have very many good right wingers here. Oh my god. What am I even looking at right now? Ooh. We're going to take Saros there as our second out of our three tendies there. Oh, dude, some of these teams have just not offered us anything. I think we'll actually take McIntyre because obviously our third goalie is going to be starting in our AHL team, I believe. So that'd be a pretty good pick for that. Beauvillier, 23 years old, already an 82 overall, 2 years left on his contract. That seems like a no-brainer to take him. We've still got about $30 million in cap space here, so we're not doing too bad. I think a big thing we can probably do as well is maybe get some free agents, so I think we want to keep a good chunk of that cap if we can. Ryan Strome, 1 year left. This one could be a gamble for sure. He'd be the last center we need to fill out our team. Can you say no to that though? Can you? 40, 50, almost 60 points in 70 games, so he was almost a point per game player. I think we'll take Strome for now, and we'll kind of see, like I said, we'll see where we're at, closer to the end of this scenario here. Oh my god, there's just no good defenseman anywhere. I can't keep taking. I don't want to keep taking players that have a year left on their contract, but they're literally the only good players that we have, kind of available right now. Braun, no. Let's go to the defenseman. See what we can see here. Let's see if there's maybe somebody young that still has, a little bit of potential. Let's take Myers, I guess. That one might not have been the greatest choice, but again, we'll go back and look through these before we make a final decision. Schultz wouldn't be bad, but again, I'm trying to save at least some freaking cap, man. Tanev is locked in for that for 6 years. I'm not getting locked into any contract for that amount of money for 6 years. There's just no way I'm doing that. Jumbo Joe, nope. Dude, we're not finding anything. Ooh, Jones wouldn't be awful. Tim Heed, a little too old. Trevor Carrick, like we're gonna have to take. This is tough. I guess we'll take Jumbo Joe. I mean, it's only a $2 million cap hit, I suppose. Ooh. Oh. You have to take him, right? 30 years old. He's probably hit his peak. 1 year left. There's no way of knowing how much money he's going to want. But you have to take him, right? An elite defenseman. Same thing with... they're going to give us Sergachev too, but he's going to want so much money. Okay. I'm starting to get a little nervous about this now, but we could have a stellar defensive core here. Who was the person... Who have we taken that has like a super high cap hit? I can't even... Stahl had a pretty high cap hit, right? Like a 5 mil. No, he only had 3 mil. Who have we taken that has such a high cap hit? Some of our initial picks, I believe. Was it Ranta that had a super high cap hit? 5 million. No, that's Goligoski. 4.2 million, 2 years left. Getting older. I don't know, man. We gotta start being pretty careful with our money here. This could be bad, but I think that we can maybe flip some of these players, to be honest. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. I think we're going to maybe try to trade some of these, like trade Sergachev out while he's still playing well and still doing decent. Man, so many 1 year contracts though. This is 2 million, 0.7. Louis Eriksson. I'm getting a little nervous now. I mean, we don't want to go too crazy here. Lavo, like we just don't want a lot of these guys, man. Like none of these guys are really what we're looking for. Ooh. Screw it. We're gonna take Markstrom and save a little bit of cap by not taking Ranta here, I think is what we're gonna do. If we can even find someone worth taking that's less. We'll take Hinostraza, actually. So that actually works out quite well. We save a little bit of cap there, and we get a much better goalie. Although I didn't even see how much time was left on his contract, to be honest. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Nick Jensen. 4 years is a long time to be locked up with that kind of guy. Top 6 defenseman. I mean, he'd be a good like back end defenseman or trade fodder or something along those lines for us, I would say. And I guess we'll take Adam Lowry as our last player here. So we're a little bit lacking on the right wings, but we have a lot of centers, so they'll just play in the right wing position. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what we're gonna do, right? Like, I feel like you can't really not take some of these guys, and we're just gonna have to roll with the punches of what's gonna happen come contract negotiation time. So Hoffman is our star player, apparently. And it looks like we have some draft interviews going on here, perhaps. I mean, we're not going to get a great pick, right? So we know pretty much we're not going to get Lafreniere. So let's interview Byfield to kind of see what he has to say. His strengths and weaknesses and things like that. Let's chat about his strengths here. He's fast. What's his weakness? Okay, his defense is lacking. This is new, isn't it? I don't know if they've had this before. Talk about the type of person you are. Play style. Strong forward who likes to drive to the net while wearing down the other team's defenseman. Okay. I mean, again, I don't know exactly what position we're coming in the draft here. I suppose we'll see. We'll find out. I wouldn't mind getting Byfield, but I don't, like I said, I don't think we're... So the expansion draft is behind us. We now have a core player to build around. Next up is the NHL entry draft. Once it is complete, I'll touch base with you again in a few months to discuss my expectations for the franchise and for me in particular. Highly recommend you update your trading log for the draft. I really don't feel like I need to. So we're going into the draft here now. I think we're going to try to get a large portion of things done here in this opening. So let's sim to... Okay, so we actually pick 4th. So Ponomarev has gone, Stuzzle has gone, and Lafreniere has gone. So we could actually take Byfield, or we could take Holtz. Holtz is the one that is set to go here. We don't know anything about these guys. We haven't had any time to scout. We haven't had any time to do anything. All we know about Byfield is that he's a power forward. These guys are... Our scouts are recommending Raymond and Holtz. I guess we'll take Holtz. We do need a right winger. 77 overall, elite medium. So not as NHL ready as Lafreniere, but the most NHL ready kind of player that we've seen so far in the draft. So we'll sim to our next pick here. We picked 35th. So let's kind of see who's still available here. We got Perreault here, who is supposed to go 35th. Like, we don't know any of these guys' potential. I mean, I guess we're just going to take Perreault. Medium top 9. I mean, again, some of these guys are just going to be trade fodder for us, to be honest. Oh, I don't. No. Stop. I don't want Dallas's 36th round pick. Please no. Let me send to my next pick, which is 67th. Let's see if we can maybe find a gem in the rough here. Holt, Chibrikov, and Francis. Now, our scout is telling us to take these two. So I'll go with Chibrikov here. 7th defenseman. My scout sucks. No, I don't want to offer a trade. Please stop. I keep hitting that button instead of hitting the sim. I'm doing it again. Stop, please. I'm losing my mind right now. Okay. So we pick 99th here now. Our lefty or righty. Like, we don't even know these guys' official positions or anything yet. Like, we are in the dark right now, man. Like, absolutely in the dark with these picks. We'll take Baudouin for sure. Top 9 forward. That's this late in the draft. I suppose I'll take that. Pick 163rd here as well. Grigorenko, Kirka, and Nichushkin. We'll take Nichushkin here. A low elite. That's going to be pretty good trade fodder right there. That was definitely a diamond in the rough. Obviously, he's never going to be NHL ready at a 48 overall. But we're certainly going to take him, and we'll take Nolan Seed here as well, as our coach recommends him. Coach seems to think that we need 7th defenseman, because that seems to be the only thing he's recommending to us. So it looks like we are now done the draft here. 224 picks in this draft. We pick Holtz as our first round pick. So Holtz and Seed, I believe, are going to be, or not Seed, Baudouin, is that what his name was? Are going to be kind of the guys that we're going to want to be looking for here. You have 6 skaters that are about to become restricted free agents, including Sergachev. Yeah, this is going to be a rough scene. Okay. So let's see how much money we're going to have to shell out for some of these guys. People that are, looking for more money here. So he wants $8.2 million. And we have how much cap right now? $36 million in cap space to sign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like a bunch of players here. Okay. So we want Sergachev for sure. Like, we pretty much have to give him... So he wants 4.9 million for 6. So we'll be nice and we'll give him 5 million on the dot for 6. He wants a one-way contract. We'll offer him that because he's one of those guys that we want to keep. Same thing for Barry. Some of these younger guys, we'll give him exactly what he wants. That's about 10 million of our 36 million cap hit already taken up by players. 5 million for Strome? I can't see that being worth it. How much do you want? 3? No, Jumbo Joe. That's not going to happen, my guy. I'll give him 3, maybe. Screw it. I think we got to release Jumbo Joe. I can't in good conscience give him that much money, can I? Like, I feel like that's ridiculous. Everybody wants so much money. Oh, God. 3.7? Like, I'm trying to make sure that we get the players that we know we want to keep long term. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure the players that we're gonna want to keep long term are secured before we do anything else. You know what I mean? So we don't know if we want to keep some of these older guys just yet. So I say we sim, a couple days. We'll just advance a day and kind of see. DeBrusque renews, Duclair renews, Sergachev renews. Barry doesn't renew. So let's go have kind of a look here and see perhaps how much money we still need to shell out. So we've got 26 million in cap space. How much does somebody like Hoffman want? 7 million. There's no way I'm giving a 30-year-old that's an 85 overall 7 million. There's just no way. Barry doesn't even want that much money. Okay, so I'll give Barry... I'm pretty sure I gave Barry exactly what he wanted, and he said that wasn't good enough. So we will... Oh, this is a sketchy deal to make. I think I'll do 5.15 for 4 years because we don't know. Odds are he's going to keep trending up, but at 28 years old, we probably don't want to give him too big of a contract right off the rip. Strome, he wanted 5 mil. We got to be careful here because at this point we're going to run out of players to even make our starting lineup out of, so we're going to have to be kind of wary of this. He wants 3 years for 2.45 mil. Like, again, some of these just seem like ridiculous numbers. Like 2 million? All of these guys want 2 million. He wants 0.975. We'll give him that. We will sign Holtz to an entry-level contract. Sign Perreault to an entry-level contract. We're going to sign like all of these younger guys. Baudouin as well. Just because these guys are just going to be trade fodder for us at this point. They're not going to be much more than that. I don't know if I'm probably just going to keep Terry, just kind of chilling. So we offered quite a few contracts there. So we'll take a little look here and see. We'll see who accepts and who doesn't. I really hope Barry chooses to accept. Man, he doesn't want. He does not seem to want it. Okay. This is becoming quite a big issue here. So let's see who some of our pending free agents are. So Pietrangelo at this point is a pending free agent. Hall, Krug, Dadonov. So quite a few good pending free agents here. And a few of them are players from my own team. We've got 23 million in cap space. This is becoming kind of a difficult decision for me here, to be honest. Okay. I want Barry for sure. I feel like at this point I'm gonna offer him 5.35 for 4 years, and I'm just kind of waiting to see if he accepts. We'll kind of go from there. How many more days of the re-sign period do I have? Like none, like 0 days. So we're gonna have to make a choice like ASAP about kind of what we're gonna do here. So let's see. So our starting centers are gonna be Stahl, probably not Strome, Beauvillier, and I guess we'll do Heinen. So we can actually release Foxa here. So we can look into maybe keeping Strome, and that would be our starting centers, which is honestly pretty good center depth, I will not lie. Honestly, we can maybe look at releasing another player here as well. Let me go back to my centers here. We could honestly maybe think of releasing Lowry, maybe. He's got a contract coming up here kind of in a year, and he's taking up about $3 million of our cap. We don't really need that kind of a player down in the lower leagues. But again, though, we'll have to wait and see, because I know we are kind of low on our wingers here. So we have 1, 2, 3. So we pretty much have to give at least one of these guys an offer. I'm thinking of giving Warren an offer. I'll give Warren exactly what he wants. And I think, how much does he want? 2.3 mil for an 80 overall at that age. I think we can get something better. We're going to release him for now. We're kind of releasing our whole team. 1, 2, 3. We have no right wingers. We have absolutely none. Holtz is probably going to be starting on the fourth line, I would assume. But Smith and Beaudoin are definitely not starting players, so we're going to have to be careful of that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this could be our starting 6 here. We offered something to Tyson Barrie. Okay, we're going to go one more day. We're going to advance one more day because we don't really have a lot of time left actually, we got to make sure maybe that none of my goldies are going to be taken up. This has been I guess actually only been 30 minutes. We're actually doing pretty good for time. And Markstrom has his contract up as well. Markstrom and this McIntyre guy. $5 million for 3 years for Markstrom. I'll give him that, and then we'll see what this McIntyre guy wants. 0.875. That's not going to break my bank too much. So we're going to advance a day and kind of see who accepts. So Fogle renews. Barrie takes that. Markstrom doesn't. So Markstrom did not accept that. And how much cap are we looking at here now? 18.5 million in cap space. And we still have to maybe consider either losing out on Strome or potentially re-signing him. If anything, I feel like we should be releasing Stahl and trying to get Strome back. Oh. How much did he say he wanted again? Like, that's a lot of money, man. I mean, I'll offer that to him, but I honestly almost don't want to. Hino Straza, how much do you want? 2.8 mil. Man, these guys are gouging me right now. This is ridiculous. We'll definitely take both of them. We've only got a couple days left of free agency, and Markstrom still doesn't want to sign with us. We pretty much need Markstrom. I don't really want to sign him for very long. Let's see if he'll take 5.3. And we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on that but I mean, like, look, we've got one more day to advance after this. Strome renews, Hinostraza renews. Markstrom still does not renew. So let's see if there's any good pending goalie free agents here, kind of out and about. Holtby's going to be a free agent. Lehner's going to be a free agent. Crawford's going to be a free agent. So we actually have potentially some decent choices here. But, like, how much are these guys going to want? Like, how much is Lehner going to want in comparison to what Markstrom wants? Like, it's probably not going to be all that different, I would assume anyway. So we've locked in quite a few of the players that we know we want to keep. So we've got our starting kind of 6 here. It's just to decide whether we want to try to sign Pietrangelo or not. $8 million for 7 more years. He could go downhill fast in those years. He is a stellar player, and I mean, 52 points in 70 games. I mean, not a stellar player. I don't know, man. I think we're going to release Pietrangelo as well. Which will then allow us the opportunity to maybe give Hutton a qualifying offer for now. And then we can kind of put our focus back on maybe giving Markstrom an offer. So how about the 5.4 or 5.4 for 2 years? Maybe he'll take that. I don't really want to give him that much money. I really don't, but I feel like he's going to be a decent starting goaltender for us, so I feel like I almost have to. Okay, so Hutton doesn't want it, and Markstrom also wants to go to free agency. So we have one more day to re-sign these players. So let's make sure that we've got everything in order here for the start of the season. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centers. So the starting 4 kind of centers, and a couple of these guys can be changed to right wing, like Hinostraza. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have exactly 4 left wingers, and one of them is not good. And we have like 5 right wingers, and none of them are all that great. So we really, really need to put a heavy focus on. We have a lot of defensemen that are kind of. Well, he wants to test free agency, and I'm not giving him any more money than he asked for. So we are going to throw him off the team. And I'm thinking that, how long is left on this guy's? How long is left on Giordano's contract? 3 years. So he'll be almost 40 by the time he's done his contract. Interesting. I really don't know what I'm going to need to do here to get Markstrom to kind of come and join us here. I'm giving him 5.5 for 2 years, and if he doesn't take that, then he just doesn't deserve my money. Of course he takes it then. So he updated the trading block. All teams must be 50 contracts. All teams must be at 50 contracts by the beginning of the new league year. Currently have 26 contracts. Players will be automatically removed from teams if they're above the 50 contract limit. Players that are signed in the CHL, yeah. So we don't have we didn't have enough people to get an AHL team set up. So now it is time to see what we can maybe do here in free agency. So we've got about 7.65 million in cap, and we really, really need a right winger of some sort. Doesn't have to be a great one. Like, obviously we don't need like crazy depth. We don't need to spend a crazy amount of money, because we obviously want to make sure that we maybe have some money to make some trade at some point. Like, Wayne Simmons could be a perfect option. Gurianov could also be an interesting option to see maybe if he will improve. I'm thinking of doing Wayne Simmons, depending on what he wants for his contract. I'm thinking of maybe doing 2.82 for 2 years. Let me actually go to all skaters here and see some of the highest potential players. Obviously, Nolan Patrick is actually currently an available player. That's kind of interesting. There really aren't that many players that have, interesting cap hits. So I mean, we could probably take Gurianov as well, and kind of maybe throw him on that fourth line with Nolan. I'll offer him what he wants. Must provide the Dallas this year's second round pick. Ooh. I'll do it just to see if they'll take it, just to see if they'll accept that kind of an offer. Let's advance a day and kind of see. So they want to take Stahl and my fourth round pick for Kyrou, Kaspic, and some other interesting odds and ends. So Kyrou is what, a 75 overall and a 65 overall for my 85 overall Stahl. I know Stahl is for some reason on my block, but he's not really something that I'm looking to get rid of just yet. Haven't heard back from any of the free agents yet, which is kind of concerning. Wayne Simmons accepts. Okay, so they may match his offer, which would be which that's fine with me if they do decide to do that. So you've still got about $3 million in cap space left, but I'm thinking that we stop going for free agents and we start looking for maybe something to trade here. So let's take a look here and kind of see what we can do. I'm definitely going to keep Holtz. I think that he's going to be a pretty interesting addition. I mean, 18 years old, 77 overall already. I think that he's going to be a pretty good looking player here. But now we want to kind of maybe look at getting rid of some other interesting players like Nichushkin here. He doesn't have a huge trade value, but he does at least have a decent looking trade value here. So I think that we really need kind of some right wingers still. We have to be very, very careful about our cap space that we're going to use here. Fisher is an interesting choice. How many years does he have left on his contract? Only one, which is kind of making you want to stray away from that. Obviously, Phil Kessel's not going to be a huge option. We're not really looking for somebody like stellar in that sense. We're just kind of looking for somebody, anybody that's going to be a decent kind of winger for us. That's pretty much all we're looking for, because we don't really have that many wingers at the moment. We don't have that many right wingers available, and I kind of want to make sure that our team isn't going to absolutely crap the bed because people are playing in a position that they shouldn't be playing. Rantanen, Donskoy, like we also don't want to be spending too much money. Obviously we've got like draft picks and things that we can throw in the pot here as well that we'll be sure to keep in mind of. But we don't want to go too crazy, as we don't have really a whole lot of cap to be working with. Like we can't get a player like Mantha or anything like that. Yamamoto would be interesting. Oh man, Cashin wouldn't be bad. A little too old for me, but we'll see. We've still got a few more different teams we can kind of keep our eyes on here. And to be fair, we also don't have to get rid of Nichushkin just yet. There are obviously a couple other players that we can get rid of. Let me go here to see if there's any other defensemen that are have decent trade value that we can maybe get rid of. Like Miller here. He's an 82 overall. Or even Jensen. Like maybe let's get rid of Nichushkin and Jensen and maybe see if we can kind of package them up in some kind of deal. I mean, that's a decent amount of trade value, and it opens us up to like almost $6 million in cap there. So we could maybe get an interesting looking right winger now that we can we have a little bit of room to breathe. We've got a little bit of cap space to work with. Gallagher is interesting. Is he only got a year left? Is that why they're thinking of getting rid of him? Yeah. 85 overall at 28 with a year left, 3.75. I'd like a longer contract. I like someone that we're not going to have to worry about for too long. Arvidsson is an interesting one. I'm considering maybe going for Arvidsson and maybe seeing kind of what else we can maybe throw in the pot here for Arvidsson. Obviously, we're not going to cheese this too hard. Like, I don't want to be using up a lot of my later first round draft picks, but in cases like this, we're just starting out. I think it might be okay to maybe use like a 2026 first round pick or something along those lines. Like that's more than enough to get Arvidsson, I would assume. So let's see maybe what else we can pick up here for that kind of price here. Is there any centers that are getting paid next to nothing that would be interesting, or any defensemen that we can pick back up? Fabro, no. Ekholm would maybe be interesting. Any Goldies, anything like that? I mean, why don't we just take Nichushkin out of this equation? And, I mean, they'll definitely take that, I would assume. Yeah, so that may have been a dumb idea, giving them that much of a trade value bonus. But let's kind of see what we're looking at here now in terms of players. So we have Stahl. We'll probably be doing Stahl, Beauvillier, Heinen, and Hinostraza. Then have Strome on the right wing with Arvidsson, Shaw, and Simmons. So we can actually get rid of either Simmons or Armia right now, which may not be a bad idea to get rid of Armia while he's still young and right before his contract kind of comes up at the next year. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We need one more left winger. So maybe what we're going to do now is we'll maybe kind of try to package up a deal involving Armia. See if we can maybe get rid of him. He doesn't really have the greatest trade value, to be honest. We're looking for a left winger in return. Raquel would be pretty dope. Oh, okay, well, we're gonna try for it anyway. We're gonna see. It's gonna ruin our cap space, but I'm thinking maybe if we give him a 6th in 2022 and maybe a 6th and a 7th in 2025. Yeah, that's not enough. Okay, let's go all the way down to like 2025 here. We don't want to get rid of another 2026 pick. Be a 3rd rounder in 2025 and a 6th rounder in 2024 and a 7th rounder in 2024. I mean, that's got to be a close pick here for sure. Okay. I don't really want to go and like give them something crazy like a 2nd round pick. We do have a 2nd round pick in 2025. I mean, they'll probably take that, right? They're actually not going to take that as an offer. I mean, I guess they probably don't really want to get rid of Raquel, but they're going to. It's going to happen. No, you know what? We don't need Raquel that bad. We'll let them keep their like one good winger their one good left winger that they have. Yeah, Raquel is pretty much their only good winger. I kind of understand now why maybe they're not too keen on getting rid of him. Nick Ritchie is an interesting option. Year left on the contract, though. That's a no-no. We can't keep doing that to ourselves. We've got quite a few contracts coming up in the upcoming year that we don't really want to be taking. Don't want to take on much more than what we already have to take on at the start of next year. Teravainen would be an interesting choice. There's really not that many good left wingers in the league right now, apparently. Kubalik is interesting. Probably only 1 year left, though, eh? Yeah. Not really for me, then. Again, I'd like someone with at least 2 years left on their contract. Like someone that's a decent player with a couple years left. Not Burakovsky. Not for that price. No way in the holy Lord above me would I be taking that. Definitely don't want Ben, considering I'm not really feeling like paying $10 million for one guy. Bertuzzi is an interesting option. 6 years, 84 overall, top 6 forward. He's a younger guy. We'd have him until he's 31. Could improve. Could also get worse, though. His trade value is actually quite high, so definitely going to say no to that. Athanasiou has a year left, 25 years old. Definitely not what I'm looking for. Zingle, a year left, 28 years old, 83. We may have to go with somebody that only has a year left on their contract, which kind of makes me upset a little bit, if I'm being honest. You follow. Now, only 1 year left. Like, all of these guys that are kind of, seeming to be decent fits only have, like, a year left on their contract. Either they have a year left on their contract or they're being paid, like, more money than we can, care to be spending. Another year only. We're not taking tartar sauce. There's no way. Forsberg, no. New Jersey. Jasper Bratt, 2 years left. Think they'd do a 1-for-1? No. That's okay. We'll start pulling some draft picks out of our butthole here again. Again, don't want to get rid of anything too, recent. That should be more than enough to get him, right? Are you kidding me? Like, I feel like people just don't want Armia. And maybe that's currently our issue. Like, he's pretty old, only got a year left. Screw it. We're gonna have to make like a huge move here. I'm thinking of putting in a third rounder from 2025. We'll offer that straight up and see if they take it. Yeah. Okay, so now our team should be built up. We should have enough players to, kind of at least have a starting lineup here. We have absolutely no cap space left. We got like $2 million in cap. I'm honestly hoping that we get Gurianov, even if he goes down to the minors. Okay, so they actually, we lose our second round pick in 2021, which is quite unfortunate. But we do pick up Gurianov, and hopefully he will, improve. I feel like we might live to regret that decision for sure. But I suppose we'll see. So nobody's actually picked up Pietrangelo yet, which I think is quite funny. There's absolutely no teams interested in taking somebody of his cap, which I also find hilarious. Maybe he should have just accepted the fact that he's not the best around anymore, and that he maybe should have just, gone with the offer that we gave him. Although we didn't even offer him anything, did we? I'm just talking smack. This guy only wants a 1-year contract. Chris Tierney, we're not going to take Chris. Let's see if we can get maybe someone that has some decent potential going here. I would love to get Nolan Patrick, if I'm being completely honest. He wants 3 years, $4.425 million, but it's just not really in the cards right now. Ernie's interesting. Tierney. Yeah, there's really nothing too great that I can see that's like really like kind of like pointing out at me. I think that we're actually good. I think that we can probably sim the rest of free agency, and we'll just sim straight to the next season. So our team has definitely changed a lot since the expansion draft. I'm excited to see kind of team chemistry and see who's going to be playing well together. We've got a 69% locker room chemistry, which I would say is probably half decent. Yeah, so obviously this has been quite an interesting kind of first episode. It's been quite a long one, about 50 minutes. Let's set our captains for sure. So right now they have Stahl as our assistant, Giordano as our captain, and Barry as an assistant. Honestly, that's probably the best people I could think of giving the like kind of giving the lines to here. Head coach Waterman kept doing no. I'd like to be able to do that myself. Okay, so we've got a +1 overall here. So our first line is actually pretty decent, with Arvidsson, Stahl, and DeBrusk. I think that's going to be a pretty interesting line. I just need to make sure that so Markstrom and UC Saros are all set and ready to go there. Giordano, Barry, Sergachev, Larson, Niederbauer, Miller. So a very, very good D line, to be honest. Can I? Ooh. So that's a +3 overall boost for them now. Yeah, that's a pretty good choice. I feel bad for Larson having to put him that far down. Is there anybody else? No. So that I mean that's but that's going to be super good for us, to be honest. Let's actually edit these around a little bit more and maybe see if we can make some more chemistry maybe happen here. I mean, we switch out DeBrusque for Duclair and we get a +3 overall there. And if we switch, I mean, we definitely don't want to switch Arvidsson for Simmons. I think we'll have to leave that the way it is. Okay. And what if I take Simmons and put him... Ooh. So what if we were to do that and then I was... I mean, that's giving those boys a +3. Is it still a +3 with Simmons on it? Yes, let's keep it like that. So that's the best kind of line chemistry we can do. Unfortunately, this third line's not going to get any chemistry, which is kind of crappy. But I mean, we give a +3 to Strome, DeBrusque, and Simmons. In the line chemistry, we get a +1 to these guys down here. So essentially, the line chemistry means that their overall is going to go up. So technically, Simmons is going to be playing like an 84. Strome's going to be playing like an 87 or 88, and DeBrusque is going to be playing like an 85. So that's going to be pretty good. That makes it a pretty decent second line. I'd say we're pretty good to go there. I don't know. I mean, I think we did all right. Obviously, we cut pretty close on the cap for our very first, kind of go at it. But I think we'll be okay. I think our team is looking pretty good. I feel like we may have made a mistake trying to make a run this early on. I don't know. I'm definitely nervous about that, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, guys, we're going to end this episode here. It's been almost an hour. This has been a long one, but we actually got a lot done. I mean, obviously, we did the expansion draft, we did the entry draft, and now we got all the way up to the regular season here. So quite a long one, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, we'll see you in the next episode, guys. Peace out.